Let's pray. God, we give you thanks for the day, and we give you thanks for your creation, that we could experience that today with all of our students and enjoy that. Thank you for all of our leadership. Be with our director of schools and all of our school administrators, teachers, staff. Guide us in everything we do tonight. May our discussion and work be of your will so that we can serve your community. Amen.
Amen. When I call the April meeting of the Benton County Board of Education to order, would you join me in a pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Michelle, will you call the roll out?
I will. Mr. Mills?
Here.
Ms. Douglas? Mr. Marks?
Here.
Mr. Peach?
Here.
Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Mr. Hargis?
Here.
Mr. Livingston?
Here.
Mr. Winters?
Here.
Mr. Hyatt?
Here.
Ms. Kennan? Ms. Arnold? Here. Mr. Hedge?
Here.
10 present, 2 absent.
Well, we do have a quorum. The next on our agenda is to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I just remind you to be approving tonight's agenda, also the consent agenda, which is the March meeting minutes, approve substitute pending background checks, approve April 11th as support staff appreciation day from U Trust, and an overnight trip for Big Sandy girls basketball team in June at North Alabama University in Florence, Alabama. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. We have approved tonight's agenda. Next on our list is approved purchasing corporate agreement with HPS, which is Volvo, Tips, Sourcewell, and Bible. You need a motion? It is.
I'll make it. You know what that is.
Second.
And I'm glad Mr. Winter said that, because the email didn't go out on the memo, so I apologize. I will make sure they're mailed and emailed in the future. I was in the hospital with my father-in-law and trying to send it from my phone. But these are purchasing cooperatives that we've had for years. This is you can purchase equipment. You don't have to bid. Buy boards through TSBA. We use HVS for all of our cafeteria purchases. So these are just purchasing cooperatives that we've had agreements with for years. But the comptroller, we have a new auditor this year, and he has requested that these be updated yearly. So we're gonna approve them in April, and then we will start approving them in August or September to start each year. So we've been using these for years. Tips and Sourcewell, we buy a lot of our computer equipment on that. And this is just what a purchasing cooperative does. They bid these, and so they have that price, and so we don't have to go out and bid if they fall in to this category. Example, we use ESSER funds to purchase the playground equipment for Holiday, Camden Elementary, and Big Sandy. Sourcewell has that equipment, so we didn't have to bid that, and we can use that purchasing cooperative. So that's all that is.
Any other questions? If you're in favor of approving, vote yes. If you're against it, vote no. Michelle, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Peach?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Hargis?
Yes.
Mr. Livingston?
Yes.
Mr. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Ms. Arnold? Yes. Mr. Hedge?
Yes.
10 yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next is approved budget resolutions. There are several of them. See
I'm
there.
ready to be approved as presented.
Second.
Any questions?
Just a question.
Okay.
Nursing grant, is that one we've been looking for?
Yes, that is the one
the nurses applied for, they
Yes,
just found
that is, I'll have to give the nurses, especially Kayla, credit. They applied for a grant, and it pays their salaries for 3 years, but we are just now getting the reimbursement from the state, so that's why that's such a large amount. But that will cover the nurses' salaries this year and then the next 2 years. Well, it's a grant, so yes, do you have a question?
Do I need to acknowledge that my wife is a nurse?
I don't think that's an issue.
Okay.
we're blessed. Blessed by our nurses here. Good.
Any other questions?
I will answer one question, because the 80,000 is a high amount, other state revenue. That is the new maternity leave that the state reimburses us from. So any teacher we've had that's took a leave, they get 6 weeks paid and they don't have to use their sick time. So that is why that amount is so large, the $80,000 that you see. And that's the reason it's going into contracted subs, because we have to obviously pay the subs to cover those.
Any other questions? If you're in favor of approving these resolutions, when your name is called, vote yes. If you're opposed, say no. Michelle, will you please call the
Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mr. Peach?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Hargis?
Yes.
Mr. Livingston?
roll? Yes.
Mr. Winters? Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Miss Arnold?
Yes.
Mr. Hedge?
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 10 yes.
Resolution passed. Next on our agenda is to approve the budget committee report. Mr. Hargis.
Benton County Board of Education Budget Committee met on Thursday, March 14th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. here. Present were myself, Marco Winters, Tim Hyde, Brent Hedge, and Director Florence. Committee met to discuss and review the 24-25 Benton School General Purpose Budget and the Briarwood Roofs project. So, if you got any more updates since we had the meeting at that time, Mr. Florence, well, let us know.
I've got it in my director's report, but I'll be glad to go ahead. I did email the financial consultant with the county to see if we had any local projections, and at this time, they don't. Just told us to go off last year, which last year's is going to be what we get with the maintenance of effort, just how that's distributed and the value of the penny. I will tell you that our original TISA estimates with the calculator that the state gave us to use was about $260,000 less than our first proposal. So we thought we were going to get a little over $1 million in extra TISA funds, and it's a little over $800,000. So that put a little bit more of a dent in the budget, and then we will. I'm hoping by spring planning, we're going to talk about rescheduling that during the director's report. I think we can go over the budget as a board and work on it then, and then have that ready to present to the commission in May.
Can you tell everybody about what we're estimating the cost of re-roofing Briarwood?
I can, bids will be open Thursday. They're estimating anywhere from $2 to $2.5 million. That was my figure. The reason of the high cost is that you can't put a roof. You can put a roof on top of one, but once that roof's already been replaced once, so they'll have to remove the other. That bid will be open Thursday. We've also asked for an alternative bid for the PVC, which is a lot more durable. It's not the old rubber that is so weather resistant. Obviously, you get what you pay for. So that alternate might be a little higher, but we will have those bids and we will review them at the spring planning as well, because we're going to have to talk about financially how we're going to pay for that as well.
We were talking about it in the budget committee meeting, that's probably more than the school cost to build originally, just the roofing. Okay, I'd like to offer that budget report out as a motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, we approve the budget review. Next is approve the revised 2024-2025 district calendar. Have a copy there.
Yeah, The only change is Fair Day. If you'll notice, it was the last day of September. Now it's been moved to August the 9th. So yes, we will start on Thursday the 1st, have a 2-day week, and then we'll have a 4-day week the next week. But that is the only change with the calendar. We are going to go ahead and have school on Election Day. I talked to the Election Commission. We're going to maybe work on porta potties, especially at the elementary school. But we just feel like instead of changing the whole schedule, there shouldn't be a big crowd that day. The presidential election's not till November, so we should be okay. So we just felt like it was better to leave it. We put that out 2 years ago, and instead of changing it on our parents, we just thought that would be the easiest thing to do. So we are going to start on August the 1st, and we are aware that's Election Day.
I thought we couldn't do that.
No, only on the federal election in November you can't,
Okay.
but you can on the others.
I need a motion to approve the change in the calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. You have approved the revision calendar. Next is approved Benton County hazardous mitigation. Have a motion, there is a second.
Second.
Okay, question?
This is our hazard mitigation plan for Benton County. We submit this, well, actually, Mr. Richard Key with EMS or EMA office will submit this, and he called me a couple of weeks ago saying that in order for FEMA to approve this, they needed all the agencies to approve. So I think the county commission is going to approve it next week, and it just needed the school board to approve that. It's 150 pages, but basically it just sets your flood zones, the areas that it has diagrams of all the schools. It's just an emergency plan for FEMA. And we've been approving that every 3 years, or maybe it's 5. Mr. Phelps and I attend the meetings. One of us attend to represent the school. So we did get an email from Mr. Key that FEMA had approved the draft, but they needed the school board and the county commission to approve the draft so they could go ahead and finalize it. And once it's finalized, if you want a copy of the 150 pages, I'll be glad to give it to you. Or there'll be a copy in my office.
Any more questions? All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Right, we have approved our Benton County hazardous mitigation plan. Next is our director's report.
Right. First thing, we have hired Jack Crocker to teach special education. Probably will be at Camden Junior High, but we'll play that by ear. But Jack is also going to be our Camden Junior High boys basketball coach. Jack just graduated from UT Martin. Most of us has known his father for a long time educator, even though he's still pretty young. But we're excited. I met with Jack Thursday. Always wanted to teach special ed, and the neat thing about it is he's always wanted to coach basketball. So he's a student of that, and he's excited. Miss Christie's smiling because she knows we've got a good one. So we're tickled that Jack's going to join our team. He is from Brewster, yes. Email. If you would, before you leave today, if you have an email that you use a lot and you don't use the VCOS, which is perfectly fine, if you will let Michelle know, she's going to write that down, and then we'll have our technology department forward your VCOS to that email that you use all the time. That way, you're not having to look at 2 different emails. And if it's a work email, it doesn't matter. We'll do it either way. But just if you want that forwarded, I'm going to continue to email the memo, but I'll also mail it for those that want it mailed. That's not an issue at all. But I just wanted, if you would, before you leave, make sure that you get that email to Michelle.
You gonna check it for us?
I'm not gonna check it. Well, if you tell me to, I will, I guess I better back up on that. New legislation. I received a call from TSBA about 3 weeks ago. There's a bill being presented to not have a school board more than 11. Williamson County and Benton County are the only two school boards in the state of Tennessee that have more than 11. So they called from TSBA and said that they were trying to get an amendment added to the bill so we would be grandfathered and it wouldn't send us scrambling because obviously we have 12 members. I did get a call last week from TSBA and they do have that amendment. So if the legislation's passed, we're okay. So if you're out and somebody says, what are y'all going to do? Y'all have 12. You can say that there's an amendment to take care of Benton County and Williamson County. So I just wanted to, because you know as well as I do, somebody's going to hear that and say something to you. And so it's not going to affect us at this time.
Well, surely who are they targeting? I mean, they got me targeting us, I guess, don't they? We're the only one.
I think probably, to be honest, I would say Shelby or Davidson County was wanting to increase the amount of school board members they have, would be my guess, because if they were targeting us, they wouldn't change it. Now, one of the resolutions where we were pulling some money out of fund balance, we are going to patch the south end of Camden Junior High. We have some pretty serious leaks. Do you agree with that, Corey? It's coming to flood right now, but I'm gonna knock on wood. We did this, with Camden Elementary a couple years ago. So far, so good. But after Briarwood, Junior High is gonna be quickly approaching the list. But we're gonna, the cost right around $23,900, so we won't have to bid that. We've got some quotes, and I went ahead and told Todd Prince Construction, he contracts with a worker that did the work at Elementary. This has been over 2 years, and it'll probably leak tonight, but we have really had good results. And it's a huge investment for us to be putting a new roof probably on in a couple of years, but I mean, it is. Corey and Gwen's probably gonna have to leave this meeting to go put garbage cans under where the ceiling is. So, I wanted to bring that to your attention. Spring planning, first of all, I apologize for having to cancel. I talked to Shanna on Tuesday when they life flighted my father-in-law, and I said, I don't know, and we talked and said, why don't we do it early? So I do appreciate the text and the prayers. GW's doing better. And my mother-in-law, we had to put her in the hospital too while we were up there, and they're both at home, so that's good news. But is April the 25th? That's a Thursday. What we were looking is like 1 to 5. I feel comfortable we can have that done by then.
What day is it?
That is Thursday, April 25th. And we will have lunch, a late lunch, and we'll have snacks, and we'll have our meeting. And also, if you have not received your email from TSBA on your law online credit, when we forward that email to your new one, hopefully you have it. If you do not, you let me know, and we will have a plan to work you through that day and make sure you get your credit. Okay? I think Marcos said he watched it. I had watched it. If you're new to the board, I'm not going to say it's exciting because that would not be true, but there's some information in there that's useful. But I have took the class, so we can work our way through it to make sure you get your credits. Also, with that said, we budget every year and we'll continue to budget. If you look and there's classes online or anything you would like to attend in person, you just let me know. If you need to go up and spend the night and go to TSBA, you're encouraged to do that. So I know we have a couple new board members. They do have a law institute. They have one in Jackson, I think in May, and they have one in Gatlinburg in June. Just if you're going to one in Gatlinburg, let us know so we can, because that's real close to the fiscal year end. But I would highly encourage any board member that wanted to attend those, because they're worth their time. We talked about the new roof at Briarwood, Lashley Ridge. We'll be opening bids on that Thursday, and then we'll get those bids, and then we will have discussion on spring planning about our next steps. We also, I talked about the budget and about $250,000 less than we were expecting. Our plan, if we, and I talked to Shauna, if we, by April 25th, I feel comfortable that I can have a budget to put in front of you that we can approve to submit to the county commission in May for approval. I'm assuming that's usually their goal, to have the budget. I went to one budget committee with the county commission, and they asked me if I had anything I needed to say, and they said, we don't have anything with the schools tonight. So I said, well, y'all have a good evening. So they're going to call me when they get to the school. So they're working on the other departments for now. Insurance bids, we're going, and that's for, make sure you hear this, that's for building, assets, workers' comp. That's not health insurance. So that is, always have to make that clear. But we try to bid insurance every 3 to 5 years. I think it's important. We are very happy with Trust, which is Tennessee Risk Management. That's the only company we've ever used. But for those of you that's been to TSBA events, Public Insurance also has several counties. They're a reputable county, insurance company as well. So those will probably be the only two that bid on that. When we did 4 or 5 years ago, it saved us about $100,000. So I think it's wise for the board to have that in their policy to look into that every 3 to 5 years. This will be a big week in Nashville. This is the Finance and Ways committees are going to hear these voucher bills. I know this is recorded and going to be online, but I will tell you that I think there's a chance that the Senate and the House just seems to be having a problem with agreeing, which, in my personal opinion, and I've told the governor face to face that I think that would be a good thing. I just don't think that's what we need. And I also want to thank you as a school board for unanimously passing a voucher opposition in January. And I also would tell you that the county commissions reached out and want a copy of your resolution, and they rewrote that for the commission, and they're going to have that at their Monday meeting, which I think, now, whether it passes, I feel comfortable they called and asked for it, that they have the support, but I think that's important that the school board and the county commission would have that. But they'll vote on that Monday, April 15th. And then the last thing, well, it's not the last thing on this page, make sure you should have got an email for the CHS Academic Awards Banquet. That's April the 29th. I think, if it's a secret or not, but one of our school board members will be recognized, and she's not here, so I think that would be it. She watches it, I'm in trouble, Dr. Shannon. Is that a secret, Mr. McDowell?
It's not a secret. She's been invited, but I don't know if she knew she's been recognized or not. But it's not intended as a secret.
Well, I think it would be great if you've been, and not only that, Terry Webb, which is a graduate from Camden Central High School, retired from the Navy, has also is going to have a scholarship for Camden Central High School students in the future. I think, I don't want to put Terry on the spot, but I think it's 5,000. Is that right, Mr. McDowell? I think it's 5,000.
That's what he said to us the other day. And
So, for those of you that don't know, you know Lyda and Ronnie Webb. That's their son Terry that graduated, I think, in '87 and has done quite well. He's going to be speaker at the Academic Awards Banquet, and that's always a special night. So hopefully everyone can make it to that. TCAP and EOCs begin next week, and then they'll run through the first week of May. I just ask you to please keep our students and our teachers in your thoughts and prayers. I will say this, and I'll say it every day I come to work. We are not a test district. We have a lot of good things going on, and we hope that our results are great, but I know how hard our students and our teachers are working, and we're not gonna judge our kids based on 2 or 3 days of testing. And then, that's all I have. The only thing when we finish the meeting, you will get your email to Miss Michelle, and then I need about 10 to 15 minutes of your time to review a disciplinary authority decision. And then we should be ready to dismiss. Yes, sir.
Couple of questions.
Okay.
You said something about that insurance being every 3 to 5 years.
Mhm.
Do we need to plan on putting that in policy, like you said, or?
What the policy says now, Mr. Hyde, is that the director will evaluate. I'm not, sure for the future that it would not be a bad idea to put, be it every 3 or every 5 years, you know. I think that it is, I'm gonna be just honest, it's hard to bid because the trust is really good to work with. I mean, but the companies, the districts that use public insurers say they have a lot of luck with that too. But just to be physically sound and responsible, I think it would be, we changed it a few years ago to read that the director would look at it. But to answer your question as policy chair, I think it would definitely be something worth looking at to maybe say.
Brent said we hadn't passed the policy in a long time, so we
Yeah.
probably need to do it.
I wish it was thicker.
One more question.
Okay.
This legal clinic thing that we're supposed to read, what's the title of it?
Um,
I mean, that email account I got.
TSBA Legal Institute, I think is what it is. I will, once we forward those emails, and if you have trouble and you're out and about, if you'll come by, we'll set you up and I'll, be glad to help you get started.
Well, look at me, you know I got it.
So you come see me and I'll take care of it, okay?
Okay, that's my questions.
Anybody else? Well, thank you so much for all you do, and that's all I have, Mr. Lewis.
All right. More questions? I'll just remind you that, we have our spring planning scheduled for April the 25th, 1 to 5. Board events with the next following, Monday, 29th. I would entertain a motion.
Before we go, I have to.
There's none. Said there was nobody signed up.
I think it's worth mentioning this Bama Friday back yesterday. 130, Benton County, that's pretty remarkable. I just want everybody to remember.
And you had put up a Kermit.
Putting up the Kermit over here. Just remember that much.
For those of you that didn't hear Mr. Hyatt, Bama Fry passed away today. I've got a pretty good feel of Patty since my uncle's in the nursing home. I don't think a day goes by where Patty don't go out and spend, or didn't go out and spend at least an hour with her mom. So 103, and she's been very important to the community. So thanks for bringing that up, Mr. Hyatt.
Anything else? All right, I will entertain one. May we have a motion, second? Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. Your second.